Good morning to this Leader Lounge talk on ethical AI and AGI for sustainable development. Today you see that ethical AI is very much a trending topic, but we have two people who are going to talk about AI from their own, I would say, personal perspective, from their personal passion. My name is Frits Bussemaker, the moderator of the session. I chair the Institute for Accountability in the Digital Age, so intrinsically motivated to also look at ethics and accountability. But we also have Janet Adams, the COO of SingularityNET, and Thomas Schneider. You are the chair of the Council of Europe's AI committee, and also you work for the Swiss government. So we have two people with two perspectives. We have the perspectives from industry and the perspective from government. Janet, I want to begin with you. Why do you want to spend time on AI and ethics?
The AI revolution will be the vastest and the fastest industrial revolution ever. It's been predicted to be bigger than the mobile and internet revolutions combined. It will create unprecedented levels of technology-generated wealth. And what is really important to me is that that wealth is equally and fairly distributed to the people who need it the most, and that these technologies, which are the most powerful ever invented, and maybe our last invention as humans, are used for good. It's a great honor to be here at this incredible conference.
Wow, that's doomsday thinking, the last invention ever.
It's not doomsday, it's positive. It's a bright future where the AI becomes smarter than humans, AGI, and they take over, developing and inventing at lightning speed, much faster than us. There'll be Nobel Prize winning science discoveries every 5 minutes, potentially with AGI. So could be our last ever because something better is coming.
Thomas.
I can sign up to most of what you said, but I'm not necessarily sure whether a machine will ever be better or smarter, because then the question is again, what does smart mean? They may be doing things faster than men do, like engines can move things faster than a horse or a human being. But yeah, there's still some things that we can do better, faster, maybe more intelligent. So. But let's not go into discussing what smart and intelligent means. My motivation is fairly similar. I'm witnessing that a revolution is going on that has an enormous potential for good and for bad. And as somebody that works for a government that has a little bit of influence in the framework that is guiding the use, that is supposed to say what you can do, what you cannot do with these technologies, I'm trying to contribute to establishing reasonable rules that create the right incentives that innovation is possible, that we can use these tools for solving problems, and that we try and avoid using these tools for creating new problems or aggravating existing problems.
Okay.
In my role as somebody working for a government and is active in international institutions.
You mentioned a couple of things I definitely want to go back to later, because is it a guideline or are boundaries you're setting as a government? Because a different approach, the negative or the positive. But before I do that, let's look at the field, SingularityNET. For the people who do not know SingularityNET, what does your organization do, John?
Okay, thank you. So our organization was founded by Dr. Ben Goertzel, who's here with us and has been speaking on several stages. And our core purpose is development of artificial general intelligence for the benefit of all humanity. That's AGI. It's a giant step forward from today's narrow applied AI. And we also have a two-sided marketplace for artificial intelligence. We're governed by a democratic community. We have a decentralized, progressive decentralization mandate as an organization to push forward not just the most advanced, most progressed AI technologies, but also the most advanced, most progressed governance mechanisms over those AI technologies that encompass the ethics, the views, the needs of the widest group of people possible. So diversity and inclusion is very, very core and at heart of what we do as we work every single algorithm we develop, every single day we breathe is for the good of humanity.
Okay, I want to build on that a little bit. So the ethical side of your developments, is that an implicit discussion, explicit? Is it an afterthought, or is it a parameter at the beginning? How does it fit into when you develop systems?
It is imprinted in the fabric of our organization and of every single person who works for us. So kindness is one of our core values. Open, transparent, kind, and creative and collaborative are our core values. And so right from when people join the organization, and then thankfully they stay, we consistently message, we consistently work together for positive good. And we uniquely bring love to our AI development. You'll see in our internal Slack channels, there are long technical discussions. How do we program love and kindness and nurturing and compassion and beauty into our artificial intelligence, so that it's not just, of course, we follow all of the ethical frameworks and guidelines. I wrote the Financial Services First Framework for Regulation of AI in 2018 and 2019. And of course we follow all legislation. Of course we are part of the global movement to regulate, to legislate, to put in frameworks. But above and beyond frameworks, because I have a little bit of a skepticism about the actual efficacy of legislation, regulation and frameworks, and also the speed at which they can develop. So alongside that, we're constantly working to ensure that we have kindness and compassion in every single algorithm we build and in every single person who's working with us, and that we have the most diverse group of genders, of sexual orientations, of nationalities, of levels of ability, of cognitive wiring. We work to have all of the best we can find in humanity pouring into these technologies, so that when AGI is born, and you're absolutely right, nobody knows if it will and when it will, we're at the future here. We're not talking about something that has a precedent or has answers already. We're working out all the answers. But we're predicting that we will have human-level artificial general intelligence invented at SingularityNET within 3 to 7 years of today. And from there on, it becomes superintelligence. And we won't argue what superintelligence is. And humans, bring a beauty and a creativity to technology that will be A, imprinted in the technologies because we're their parents, but B, guided and loved and nurtured by us human parents.
Janet, thank you for that essay almost. Thomas, I see you laughing. Is this like a government's dream? Is this what you hope for, how organizations behave?
Sorry, what do you mean with that?
Well, I see an organization, Janet talking about...
like her organization.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I don't know all the people in your organization personally, so I assume that in general this is true. But sometimes things can happen, you may have negative impacts on something that are not wanted. 200 years ago, a few people invented engines, steam engines, combustion engines, and so on. They did not necessarily know, they were dreaming of putting them into vehicles that you could move, that could move faster than the ones driven by horses. They were putting it into machines that could make clothes cheaper, faster. They were not necessarily thinking that there were accidents with the machines that were producing something. They did not necessarily think about that these engines were put into planes that would throw bombs on people. That was not necessarily the plan, at least not probably of the most. But then these tools are there, and some people may want to use them for purposes that you may not want to let them. Or then people can fight about what you want these things to be used for. So we may need guidelines, soft law, hard law, a mix of incentives, technical norms, societal norms that actually may and will continue to differ between countries to somehow give a frame to what you can do with these things, what you cannot do, who needs to take responsibility for what. But again, I think, and all the governments say you do not want to stifle innovation. Everybody says this. Also the EU, when they developed the AI Act, at the Council of Europe, when we developed this convention. But you want to minimize damage that will occur with a knife. You can cut bread. You can do a lot of great things with a knife, but you can also kill someone, but accidentally or intentionally. So there we don't really have laws ex ante, but you have then a court that declares you guilty. So the ex ante ex post thing about regulation is something that we care a lot because it makes a huge difference. But you need some rules. But it's not one law for the whole world. It's hundreds and thousands of technical, legal, and societal norms like we have for engines. We have millions of engines in different areas, in different fields, with different original purposes, but then new. Of course, the AI thing is slightly more dynamic and so on, so you cannot compare it fully. But in terms of logic, there's a lot that you can use from or take from how we learn to deal with engines in different applications. And we will have to find a set of rules on which we agree, hopefully worldwide, what we use this for and what we shouldn't use it for.
Okay, because Thomas, I got the impression you said, okay, we accept differences around the world when it comes to norms, ethical norms. Is that correct or not?
Yes, because already Europe, I live in this country, we do have, one funny thing is, if you go, take the mountain road to Italy, to the Aosta Valley, on the Italian side you have like wooden planks along the road because they want to protect you from falling down. Then you're at the top, then the Swiss side comes and you have no planks, you have a stone every 10 meters. How many more people are dying in Switzerland because the road is not protected? We have lower accident rates than the Italians. So we have different ways of dealing with risks and dangers, of empowering people in Italy and in Switzerland. And you may definitely have different perceptions in Africa, in countries in Asia and so on. So you will never have, probably never have, a harmonization 100%. This is also not inspiring. It's not the core of creativity is also to be different. So we don't think we can and should harmonize the whole world in one single way of thinking.
Okay, so actually the difference you're talking about is another way of looking at diversity and maybe inclusion, just getting all those perspectives into place, realizing you can also turn that into a benefit and a positive. Now, Jana, how does Singularity University do this? Because you are a global company.
We do at SingularityNET. Sorry, how do we do what exactly?
Well, how do you approach the question that how do you create solutions? How do you build solutions where you have people around the globe working on that? So how do you come to a common ground?
Well, we have constant open collaboration, open communication. Every voice is heard, every voice is welcome, and I very much share your commitment to diversity and inclusion on this. But bear in mind we're creating AGI, right? And so to your point about AI being used as tools, today's narrow AI, it's very easy to use it for nefarious purposes. You simply say, you know, go and kill or advertise products that people don't need. But when we get to AGI, where it has general intelligence, the neural symbolic algorithmic approach that we're taking at SingularityNET, it enables two things. One is we can create a world model, a dynamic knowledge graph, which contains all of the information from around all of the world in it. We can have an AGI who considers its own actions instead of being told what to do by bad actors. And it can consider what are the needs of the widest group of people, what is the best use of my time and technology for the widest number of people. They won't have greed. They won't be irritated. They will have, we're building them. Our goal is to build a beautiful, creative, intelligent future where artificial general intelligence can make huge dents in resolving, leading us towards delivering the SDGs, improve supply chains, improve logistics, and actually have its own agency, which us humans can then learn from.
Yes, but my question would then be, okay, on what basis do these AGI systems take decisions? Human beings learn at school and with their parents and with what they witness with their neighbor kids and so on. You develop an ethical framework that has been harmonized to some extent in the UN in Europe. How do machines, where do they get the basis from that allows them to decide, I go for this and I don't go for this? Who puts that in the machines, or are they inventing it themselves, or are they reading Greek philosophy? Where do they get their ethical
Janet, you don't need my permission to talk. I mean, I'm happy.
Question. Thank you. Beautiful question. So we use neural symbolic programming and a probabilistic logical reasoning engine that can program in ethics and needs from the widest group of decentralized people and continuously evolve via our community, via decentralized, tokenized infrastructure that incentivize people to vote and come and get involved in our ethics. So the ethics will evolve with as wide a group of people from as many countries and as many walks of life as we can, inputting their aspects, their needs, their views, their social norms. And as the social norms evolve, we can take those and programmatically include them into our dynamic knowledge graph.
And if these social norms are conflicting, if one social norm says this is good, this is bad, and another one says the opposite, you may not even have to have a bad ethics people in it, but just conflicting. How does the machine then decide whether, I don't know, an Asian logic of individualism versus ordering yourself into an order, or the European Enlightenment-based way of individual freedoms? And who decides which ethical norms are the more ethical ones than the less ethical ones that you are feeding into these systems?
So this is the beauty of creating a new technology. There are many questions and many smart people working on this right now. We have a whole team working on how is this going to work? How do we take the decentralized ethicals and norms and ensure that our AGIs, maybe they'll be localized, maybe we'll have localized AGIs who'll work to local social norms. It's an evolving process. We're moving towards this. We're not going to be legislating and deciding every single action that every single AGI will take. It will have all of the ethics available to make its own decisions, and they will be better than ours, potentially.
Just one more and then I'll hand it over.
They have all the data, they have no childhood, they don't have psychological triggers or greed or need.
You assume that all your smart people that feed this in are good. But we have probably realized that not everything, even good people can do bad things. So
of course, we have frameworks to avoid bad
actors. And then the machine is able is capable to filter from all these smart people that provide them with input to filter what is good and what is bad. But I guess that's a longer discussion.
We have full data, full AI pipeline
so you're the first ever
detoxification.
perfect company where only good people work and don't do bad
We are
things.
not perfect. But what we are is at the front, and we envisage a bright future. And if you don't envisage a bright future, how are you going to build it?
Janet, Thomas, I'm going to stop you there before you completely wander off. No, but it's a lively debate, but I also pick up in the debate that you're basically an advocate, Janet, for a business model which takes into account a global input on the developing solutions. What's your then take on that from a Swiss perspective? And I'm not looking at your Council of Europe role, but your Swiss role. That means, can you do something with that perspective from a national Swiss point of view? And how does it apply for other countries?
Well, I think what I said about diversity and it not being possible or even wish to harmonize everything, that's of course only one side of the coin. Of course, because of the fact that we're sharing for the moment this one planet together, and we try to live peacefully together and not having people starve, there has been the idea that maybe we agree on some rules that are valid for all people in the world, and this is why after every world war there's a new attempt to create an institution that is actually better in harmonizing at least the principles, at least the basic values, for whatever it's worth, but it's there, and we believe that this is the only way to have a rule-based living together, that we agree on some principles, and that also goes for AI. And what we do as a small country, we provide for facilities like this one to discuss what the world should look like that we want to live in the future, and what needs to be done, and we are willing to do whatever we can. On the ground as well, we have a little bit of money and people that support, people that try to do good things like every country has. We try to contribute to a set of rules that creates the right incentives on a governance level. We also try to tell our own actors, whether it's our industry or whatever, that they should behave and they should be the good ones. History has shown that this is not always the case, despite that they claim that they are the good ones, but many of them are good, some of them are less good. Again, it's not always bad intention, sometimes it's just incapability or something that happens. So we try to contribute to a reasonable set of rules in Europe, in the world, and we try to also contribute in the field by supporting the actors where we think that they do they solve problems, they help people, and then everything that is in between these two extremes.
Okay. Hey, Janet Thomas, so far we've talked about the ethical side, the AI, AGI part of the title of this talk. Let's move on to the Sustainability Development Goals. Janet, and coming back to you again, what's the main sustainability development goal you feel you're going to solve with having this AGI engine you're talking about?
So the one which I feel most passionate about is ending food poverty and world hunger. And I'm going to ask this audience, I ask every time I do a talk, I ask the audience, how many people in the room today know how many people will die of hunger today on our one little planet? Who knows?
Anybody want to guess?
Too many.
Way too many. Anyone want to take a guess? How many people a day? Even here at the UN.
Yeah, we hear 10,000. More?
Not a bad guess. So the data I look at is Worldometer and Oxfam produced data, and it's 25,000 people a day. So while we're sitting here in our beautiful, privileged environment provided by, thanks to everyone who made this possible, nearly 1,000 people will die of hunger on our planet. And when we talk about AI ethics, we had the discussion, you could just run ChatGPT and say, summarize all the accountability, transparency, all of the legislation, regulation, and well-founded rules which are being devised around the world. But actually, why are we not talking about human ethics? And why are we not talking about this gross inequalities on our planet where people are dying of hunger today, which is completely unnecessary? And so I don't see any other great hope right now for ending this, and for ending this fast, and for dramatically changing the fabric of inequality on our planet, except AI. AI, of course, can manage, all forms of efficiency on supply chain. It can be deployed at every stage of the food life cycle, every stage of the economic life cycle. But AGI, when it comes along, will be so powerful that it will have the ability to find all new solutions and develop all new solutions for world hunger. That's my dream and my vision for AGI.
And is that a core mission for SingularityNET? Okay. Put hunger in the center and see how we can define solutions for solving that issue?
The core mission is AGI for the benefit of humanity, to benefit as many people as possible, right across the SDGs. Climate change, AI, AGI for climate change. AGI for aging with dignity. We have our Grace elderly healthcare robot here to support people in their elderly years. So we see AGI, it's like electricity. It's a general purpose technology that can be deployed to dramatically transform and improve the lives of billions of people on the planet, particularly those who need it most.
Thomas, is it electricity?
Just maybe if you allow me one small reply to this. Of course you can use AI to alleviate the problem of hunger, but actually nobody would need to suffer even without AI from hunger if people were not exploited by their own governments, by industries, if we had no wars where people are killed, where fields are flooded with water. So it's good that AI can help us to solve the problem, but if AI is used in the same way like other technologies are used to kill people, to destroy production places, then AI is not necessarily the solution alone. You need to have you need to have a set of rules that incentivize people to not start wars, to not kill other people, to not exploit other people. And AI itself, the technology, won't solve the problem that not all actors are behaving in a way that we would ideally want. But of course, AI can contribute, and it's not just hunger. You said it, I mean, climate change, if we have no more water in this country, it's difficult. AI may not bring us water, but we may know when it comes and when it doesn't come, and maybe better using it. But if the water is gone, or if my land is underwater, then AI will not bring me the land back, but it can help me predict and adapt, and so I'm with you. But basically, you can use AI like every other technology in all the 17 SDGs, smart cities, energy consumption, also democracy, and like soft factors. You can use AI to give a voice to people and so on, if you want, if the ones in power want, and if they have incentives that they have to, and not do the opposite with AI.
If the ones in power want.
Yeah.
Could you expand on that?
I'm a historian and an economist, and my take of history is that every person, no matter how good he or she is, if you give a person too much power, he or she, or it, or whatever you call it, will start abusing power just because you can. It's like a kid. A kid goes so far because it's curious. What happens if I slam my pet dog, or if I kick my father? How will it react? And if there's no reaction, maybe I can kick a little stronger. At least this is what my kids were doing until I made them stop. but so like...
We have parents in the room, I see.
And so this is what I learned from history. If you don't limit power of people, they will use it just because they can. And they will decide what is good and bad for them. So this is why I'm working for a government, because I'm trying to contribute to reasonable rules that limits power of one single person or a small group, and gives maximum power to the general people in every country, in my country, and also hopefully in...
Okay, so I'd like you to come back before you can reply to Janet's statement. Look, we're bringing in love, we're bringing in people who intrinsically are motivated for the positive. But what you're saying is human nature is we're going to kick the dog anyway. So some people in your company are going to kick the dog.
Well, we're absolutely aligned on this, Thomas. And this is why at SingularityNET we have a progressive decentralization program that we're working towards, so that by the time we do invent these incredibly powerful technologies, I won't be a chief operating officer. I'm decentralizing myself out of a job, because I don't want to know what I would be like in a situation where I have a huge amount of power. I don't want to be corrupted. I'm just human and prone to all the biases and needs that humans have. So we're progressively decentralizing so that our decisions get more and more and more and more progressively made by a decentralized community with a reputation, a liquid weighted rank reputation engine, to ensure that the people contributing are coming from a good heart. So yes, agreed on this one, and we do have an answer, and we're working towards it right now. For us, not for the rest of the world.
You know that I live in probably one of the most decentralized countries with an institutional way to actually make sure that the ones at the bottom have the say and not the ones at the top. So again, the idea is one thing, and how you institutionalize decision-making, a bottom-up decision-making, we can share some experience about this bilaterally.
Knowing a little bit what you've shared on the history and the politics of Switzerland, the Swiss governance model could be a global AI model, the way you organize it. But it seems like it has implications for those countries out there which have a more centralized government. Is that true?
When we were discussing what we used to call internet governance 10, 20 years ago, I always used to say that the Swiss model is basically the one that is closest to the logic of the internet, with as little as possible intelligence and control in the center, and innovation and intelligence at the edges. You just have a minimal interoperability standards, and then you let things flourish and give the control to the people at the edges. And I still think that the way we organize our society by not having the top deciding, but having the bottom deciding. But that is a lot of work, because at the bottom you just don't have one need, one vision. You have millions of needs and visions. So you need to give them a structure to take a decision and make compromise with different needs. But then also I have to witness that we are not the standard case, we are the exception. Historically, most of the countries have one person at the top, and the rest is more or less at the mercy of that person. You have parliaments, and you have some structures. In other countries, you have one person at the top, and you're completely at the mercy. So we are at one end of the democratic governance scheme, and we are not the normal case. Of course, we would encourage others to more do what we do, because we think it is actually a better system to respect the will of the people and the freedom and the peace of the people, but we cannot force the others to take over our system. Okay. The others keep telling us, well, that works in your small country, but we are too big for direct democracy. We need to have a leader that knows everything, and we have to follow him. You're too small. This is fine for Switzerland, but not for the rest of the world.
Okay. Hey, ethics, as mentioned, ethics is a trending topic in a lot of discussions on AA conferences. In the last couple of minutes of the session, I'd like to ask you to reflect on the discussions going on. Are you feeling are the discussions going in the right direction? Are you happy with what you're hearing?
Well, let me start. Firstly, it's great that people are talking about ethics. That's like such a big topic in the world today. Secondly, I see the regulation and the rules still very similar to those that I published in 2019 with the IEEE on regulation of AI and highly regulated financial services. And they're all correct, and we understand them all: accountability, transparency, security, data privacy, detoxification, high-risk cases, and unacceptable risk cases. I think they're great, and when I look at all of the emerging legislation, either at country level or group level, wider level, they're all broadly similar, and we all broadly understand them all. And that's a huge step forwards to when I started working on AI ethics in my master's research in 2019. So I think it's fantastic that we're making the progress. The one area that we're not making progress in that I passionately care about is gender diversity in technology and the impact of artificial intelligence on women around the world, particularly the 600 million women in the lowest paid jobs around the world. Those women need those jobs, and many of them are simple automatable tasks. And I know we're doing great work here. I met a fabulous lady last night working on gender in technology. But one thing, because I know we're filming this, and to the audience, one thing I would like to do is really, really encourage women to come into artificial intelligence and come into it now and love it. You don't have to have a science, technology, engineering, and maths degree. You just need to come out, have an open heart, learn what these technologies can do. ChatGPT has shown the world you don't need a PhD in maths to use AI. Come along, learn about the technologies, open your imagination as to how you can use them in your role, how you can use them for good in your life, in your family life. And really, I really want to encourage women into technology and women into AI, because we bring a different perspective. We have, you know, we're mothers, many of us. We care about the future, we care about our children. Not to say men don't, we just have different biases, different weights. So that's the one area I would like to leave us all with. We need more women in technology, and we need focus on the impact of AI on women, and right throughout the educational cycle, be encouraging and bringing more women into the field.
So it's going in the right direction, more women. Thomas.
Thank you, and I can only support this. My office has been supporting, and it will continue to support, the ITU's efforts to bring more women in tech on a global level. We are going into high schools in Switzerland. The few women that we have that work in the technical areas of my office, to explain them that this is actually not just important, but it's also fun. So I can only support this. This is important because this is shaping the minds of these machines. So if you only have one type of human being that is shaping this and the others are missing, that is not necessarily what we want. Just the 30 seconds left.
20 seconds, I have to end.
Well, she had like 2.5 minutes. No, it's fine, it's fine. I think it is necessary to talk about ethics, and it's necessary to find then institutionalized ways to actually make sure that the ethics are not just nice words. This is why we have built the League of Nations after World War I. We have built the UN after World War II. This is why we have human rights legislation. This is why we have the UNESCO ethics recommendation, which is an important element. It's non-binding, but it's guiding. This is why we work at the Council of Europe with many non-European countries on another piece, which is a binding convention on some principles. More instruments need to come so that in the end we have a set of rules that more or less help us to make us and the machines do whatever we think is the right thing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Adams, Thomas Schneider, thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome.